हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हो आप लोग। आज की वीडियो में हम लोग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। वो है अ लेटर टू गॉड, क्लास 10th का सबसे पहला टॉपिक। तो यदि आप लोग सारे बच्चे 10th क्लास में आ चुके हैं तो सबसे पहले तो आप लोग को बहुत बहुत कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस क्लास 10th में आने के लिए। और इस सेशन जो भी आप लोग 10th में गए हैं, एक रिजोल्यूशन लीजिए कि मुझे आज के दिन से सारे चैप्टर्स इंग्लिश के बहुत अच्छे करने हैं। इनफैक्ट नॉट ओनली इन इंग्लिश बट ऑल्सो इन अदर सब्जेक्ट्स यू विल हैव टू एक्सेल। सो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, welcome back to English with Pranav. Dear students, from today I am going to give you a series of chapters which are going to be asked in class 10th board examination. And as far as your English literature is concerned, my dear students, in English literature the very first chapter is a letter to God. So my dear students, please watch this video till the end. This will really be very much helpful for you if you are a student of class 10th. So a letter to God is written by G.L. Fuentes. Who is the author of a letter to God? G.L. Fuentes. Okay, so before you read, let's start reading this very line. They say faith can move mountains. My dear students, if I ask, do you believe in God? Then you would say yes. So in this very chapter there was a farmer whose name was Lencho. He had a big faith in God, and the faith can move mountains, here it is said. What should we put our faith in? This is the question this story delicately poses. My dear students, this chapter will tell you that keeping faith is a good thing, but when it changes into superstition, then it is a bad thing. आप लोग को इस वीडियो में आगे पता चलेगा कि लेंचो हैड अ बिग फेथ इन गॉड, बट ही हैड सच अ बिग फेथ इन गॉड दैट ही डिड नॉट बिलीव इन ह्यूमैनिटी. ह्यूमैनिटी पर से उसका विश्वास हट गया, उसको सिर्फ भगवान पर भरोसा था. तो ऐसा तो होना नहीं चाहिए. क्या हुआ था, इसको ह्यूमैनिटी पर भरोसा क्यों नहीं था, सिर्फ भगवान पर भरोसा था, उसके कारण क्या कुछ कहानी है, आइए हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. समझिए, लाइन बाय लाइन में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. लेंचो इज अ फार्मर हु राइट्स अ लेटर टू गॉड when his crops are ruined. Means Lenjo is a farmer, unfortunately his crops got failed, okay, asking for 100 pesos. And do you know, when all his crops got failed, he was a poor farmer and his total livelihood was dependent upon his crops, understood. And when his crops got failed due to excessive rainfall, hailstones you can say, then he needed some money. And what did he write in the letter? He demanded how much money from God, dear students? He demanded 100 pesos. Pesos is a currency, you can say, of that very place where Lencho is living. So does Lencho's letter reach God? My dear students, is it possible that when you write a letter to God, the letter will reach to your God? Not at all. God is a positive power which is invisible. We cannot see God. God offline, in an offline mode, cannot receive the letter. But Lencho has such a faith in God that he wrote a letter to God and he posted, he himself went to the post office to post that letter. And the, address which was given was directly to God. As simple as that. Does God send him money? So according to Lencho, I would say yes, God sends him the money. But dear students, put it in comment, who sends the money? It was the postmaster and his employees who collected the money. What happens, beta? We will discuss further. So let's start discussing, okay, without wasting your time. From here we will discuss. So watch this video till the end. Again, I would request for the new 10th comers. Okay, the house, the only one in the entire valley, means Lencho used to live near a valley, and in near the valley there was the only house, है ना, sat on the crest means you also know that top, on the top of a low hill, means it was a hilly place where he used to live. From his height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn. My dear students, just create an imagination in your mind that Lencho was a farmer who was living in a hilly area, on the top of a low hilly area, you can say, from where when he used to see his ground, everything could be seen, and he used to see the ripe corn dotted with flowers. Means, dear students, his crops were flourishing on that day. That always promised a good harvest, and he was expecting. Lencho, the farmer, was expecting that this year I'll have a better harvest and I'll earn money by what? By selling my crops. But unfortunate things happen, my dear students. What happened? See, the only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least shower. Means a rainfall was needed. Any problem, beta? No. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. My dear students, Lencho, throughout the morning, was expecting that today it should have some rain. I should have some rain. Hannah had done nothing else but see the sky too, and that's why he was looking at the sky, expecting that the rainfall will come. Any problem in this paragraph, my dear students? No. Next. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. Who is saying this line? Please comment it in the comment section. Lencho is saying this line, and who is the woman here? I think most probably Lencho's daughter is the woman. Sorry, Lencho's wife is the woman here, and he is saying that we are really going to have some water today. The woman who was preparing supper means night food, you can say, replied, "Yes, God willing." Means if God wants, if God wishes, then certainly there will be a rainfall. The older boys were working in the field. The older boys were, my dear students, they were working in the field. Means older sons, you can say, means elder sons of Lencho were working in the field, and the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them. I think it might be the evening time where the woman was preparing supper and Lencho was expecting for a better rainfall, and at the same time his elder sons were playing and his elder sons were working in the field and his smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, "Come for dinner." It was during the meal that, and all of them were taking the meal, taking the food, just as Lencho predicted. And you all know, beta, that Lencho was predicting for a rainfall. So at this, according to his prediction, you can say the same thing happened. Big drops of rain began to fall. Means, my dear students, it started raining. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. And my dear students, do you know that whenever it rains, before raining, a cloud hovers in the sky, giving a clear herald, giving a clear arrival of the rainfall, giving a clear indication of the rainfall. The air was fresh and sweet. Lencho became very happy when initially there was a sign of somewhat rainfall, you can say, because a huge mountain of clouds were coming. So Lencho thought that yes, it will rain now, and the man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. Means it started raining, my dear students, and he went outside to have some drops of rain on his body, you can say. Who went outside to have some drops of rain on his body? Lencho. Why? It was the result of his you can say what, excitement, you can say, because he wished the rainfall and the rainfall exactly came. But something happens against his wishes now. What happens? See here, beta. And when he returned, he explained, "These are not raindrops falling from the sky, they are the new coins." My dear students, Lencho compared the raindrops falling from the sky with new coins. Means, beta, raindrops is equal to what? New coins. And please underline this line, very important. The big drops are 10 cents. Means big drop of rainfall is equal to 10 cents, and the little drop of rainfall is equal to 5 cents. Any problem? Please give a like if you have understood till here. Okay. Now, and please watch this video till the end. Maybe this video will be a long one, but I am explaining it line by line, so it will take some time. Okay, so be till the end. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers, draped, you can say, means covered in a curtain of rain. My dear students, initially Lencho became very satisfied. Why, beta? Because the rainfall was coming according to his expectation, and he regarded the field of ripe corn with flowers, and he was just, feeling very much excited to see the ripe corns with flowers. And when it was raining, draped in a curtain of rain, means he was very much expectant that his crops would flourish very soon because of the raindrops, and he will have a good harvest this year. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, means that cloud changed into a storm, you can say. And storm wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones, means, my dear students, solid precipitation, means ola brishti, you can say, began to fall. This truly did resemble new silver coins. Please underline this line. Means initially the hailstones also resembled like new silver coins. But do you know, there is a line, have you heard this line? Please comment it. Excess of everything is bad. Have you heard this line, beta? Excess of everything is bad. Excess of everything is bad. So do you know what happened? Initially it was very good, and the boys, means the sons, exposing themselves, means exploring themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Do you know, beta? Boys are boys, children are children. They will absolutely go outside to enjoy the rainfall. And whenever the hailstones were, when the hailstones stones were coming on the ground, falling on the ground, they used to collect those hailstones, you can say. Next paragraph. It is really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. What was really getting bad, dear students? The weather was really getting bad, explained the man. I hope it passes quickly. And Lencho was just praying from God that it should pass quickly. He did not, but it did not pass quickly. Yes, God was also playing with the emotion and sentiment of this, with this Lencho, you can say. Emotion of this Lencho, poor farmer Lencho. Okay, the field. Now what happened, dear students? For an hour, the hell rained on the house. Means for how many hours? 1 hour, means exactly for 60 minutes continuously. The hailstones, you can say, rained on the house, and the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. You know what happened? The field was now white, as if covered with salt. Here, salt is nothing, but the hailstones are also white in color. Salt is also white in color. So the hailstones are compared with salt, because the whole field was looking what? White in color, only because of the salt or hailstones. Hailstones, understood? Now, not a leaf, very important line, underline this. Not a leaf remained on the trees, means the hailstones destroyed all the crops, all the trees which were present there. The corn was totally destroyed. Means Lencho's crops were destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul, very important. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. Why was Lencho now sad? Because, and initially he was happy because it was raining. But now Lencho's soul, Lencho's heart got filled with sadness, only because his total crops were destroyed, only because of the hailstones. And when the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons. This line is very important. In the board examination it has come, so you can underline it. What did Lencho say to his sons? Lencho said that a plague, you better know, a kind of endemic and all that disease, a plague of locusts. Locusts are the insects type things which basically harm what? The crops. So a plague of in Hindi it is called as tidda, I think. A plague of locusts would have left more than this. Do you know what Lencho is saying? Lencho said that the hailstones, always remember, the hailstones destroyed my crops totally. And he is saying that if locusts, means the insects, had to destroy my crops, still he would have, means they would have, means locusts, the insects would have left some land, left some crops, but hailstones totally destroyed the crops. Are you getting some sense? He is saying that a plague of locusts would have left something, but hailstones did not leave anything. The hell has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. Who said this? This year we will have no corn. Lencho said this. That night was a sorrowful one. For Lencho, dear students, that night was a sorrowful one. Understood? Means it was a very bad night. Why? Because he was almost ruined. Because his total earnings, were dependent totally on his crops, and now his crops got failed. So he was being very much sorrowful, and he said, all our work for nothing. Means I toiled a lot, I worked hard day and night, for this very, for getting my crops harvested, but my whole crops are destroyed. So all our work went futile. There is no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. Who is saying this? Lencho is saying this. Can you please answer these questions? And you can also answer it, if it is possible, in the comment section, and if not, then honestly you can write it in your copy. Understood? What did Lencho hope for? Lencho hoped for a good rainfall. Why did Lencho say that raindrops were like new coins? Because when the raindrops came, he thought that it would result in good harvest of the crops, and each raindrop was compared with new coins, because indirectly he would sell those good harvest and earn lots of money. Why did the rain change? How did the rain change? The rain changed into hailstones. And what happened to Lencho's fields when the hailstones rained for 1 hour continuously? Lencho's total fields got destroyed, you can say. What were Lencho's feelings when the hail stopped? Lencho's feelings were filled with sadness. Do you remember this line? Yes. Next. But in the hearts of all who lived in the solitary means, please comment it in the comment section. I think it is alone. So in the hearts of all who lived in the solitary house. Who lived in the solitary house? That house? Lencho, Lencho's wife, Lencho's sons, Lencho's bigger sons and smaller sons. Okay. And there was a single hope. Underline this line. Help from God. Okay, please comment in the comment section. One who believes in God is called as what? One who believes in God is called as what? And also comment it in the comment section. One who does not believe in God is called as what? One who does not believe in God is called as what? Let me tell you the answer. First one is called as theist. Theist or thiest? I think it should be theist. Just 1 minute, my dear students. One who believes in God is called as theist, no? Theist is correct. What I have written is already correct. So, and one who does not believe in God is called atheist. Theist. What I wrote earlier is correct. Okay. Next. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, underline this line, no one dies of hunger. As you can see that Lencho was the head of his family, so he was just trying to console the members of his family by saying that no one dies of hunger. Don't worry, there will be any solution. And that's what they say, no one dies of hunger. And all through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope and the help of God. He believed in God a lot. Again, I would say, beta, that believing in God is a very good thing, but it should not result in superstition. Means that you are only believing in God, but you are not believing in humanity. You should also believe in humanity. Manavta. Understood? Now what happens here? Whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything. Whose eyes see everything, beta? God's eyes see everything, and even what is deep in one's conscience, means what is going on in one's mind, is also read by our God. Yes or no? Lencho was an ox of a man. Please comment it in the comment section. What do you mean by this line? Lencho was an ox of a man. An ox is a hard working animal. Yes or no? And Lencho was an ox means Lencho was a hard working person, you can say, in the form of a man, working like an animal in the fields. Lencho used to work like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. Very important line it is. If you can go into the depth of this sentence, dear students, Lencho was a hard working man, but do you know, he still knew how to write, means he was an educated person. Basically, there is a perception that farmers are mostly illiterate, but Lencho was that farmer who was not illiterate at all. He knew how to read and write. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter. Who started writing a letter, dear students? Lencho started writing a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. Lencho wrote a letter to God that is absolutely satirical, ironical, and he expected that after writing the letter, he himself will go to the town in the post office and place in the mail, and it was nothing less than a letter to God. How funny it is written that he wrote a letter to God, but you can say a kind of belief, a kind of deep faith in God has been shown in this very chapter. But the author has tried to show that excessive of belief results in superstition, and that can also lead to the lack of faith in humanity. And the same thing happened with Lencho. What happened? See, in the letter, what did he write? Very important line. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. Means we will die hungry this year. I need 100 pesos. How much money was demanded by Lencho dear? 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crops come, because the hailstorm ... Why did he not write the total lines? Because Lencho understood that God knows everything. Understood that the big faith was there in God. है Truly, we also believe in God, but at the same time, we also apply our practical sense that writing a letter to God is not possible. God is not in the form of a physical, person who will receive the letter and he'll help you. But still, the way he wrote a letter, that gives somewhat impractical kind of scene here. Next, he wrote in the letter, what did he write here? To God on the envelope. Means on the envelope he wrote to God. In the letter, this thing he wrote, you can remember it. And he put the letter inside the envelope, and still troubled went to town. Still he was disturbed, and he went to the town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. Who dropped the letter in the mailbox? Lencho himself. And that on the letter, on the envelope, there was something written. What was written there? To God. Okay, next. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss, laughing heartily, and showed him a letter to God. My dear students, one of the employees who was a postman, one of his employees was a postman. Always remember, in the post office, so many posts are there. The post of a postmaster, the post of a postman, and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily. Actually, that postman read that letter, means on that envelope, you can say, where it was written to God, and he started laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. The postman went to the postmaster, you can say. Who is the boss here? The postmaster is the boss. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. How funny it is that someone will write a letter to God. The postmaster, please underline this line, very important, the character sketch of the postmaster. The postmaster was a fat and amiable man. Amiable means, my dear students, friendly and pleasant. I think we all should become an amiable man, friendly and pleasant. The postmaster, fat and amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. He also started laughing. The postmaster also started laughing. Why? Can you please comment it in the comment section? Why did the postmaster start to laugh? Because he also understood that how impractical that person might be who read a letter to God. But almost immediately he turned serious. Who turned serious? The postmaster turned serious. And tapping means the action of a striking against something. Tapping the letter means keeping the letter on his desk. Commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of that man who wrote the letter starting up a correspondence with God." Means, you know, the postmaster was a very good natured person who understood that what a big faith that Lencho had in his God, that he wrote a letter to God. That's why the postmaster thought that we should not break Lencho's faith in God. And how will he not break the faith of Lencho's faith in God? By giving the demanded money. And what amount was demanded by Lencho? 100 pesos. But will the postmaster along with his employees be able to give total 100 pesos? Not at all. How much money, my dear students? 100 pesos. What happens line by line? Please understand. So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. He thought that I'll answer the letter, I'll give him the money. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than a goodwill. Means postmaster understood when he read the letter, he understood that more than a goodwill, only good wishes, something more was needed. That was money. Understood? More than ink and paper. Means only reply letter will not be given, rather some money was demanded. How impractical it is, na? But he has stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees, but he was stuck. Means the postmaster was stuck to his resolution and he demanded the money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary. Means the postmaster also gave some part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. Means not only the postmaster, my dear students, but the postman and other post office employees were also ready to help Lencho with some money. That is also called as an act of charity. Any problem? No. Next, it was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos. 100 pesos was a good amount, you can say. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. Means he put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word, that was signature God. The postmaster replied that letter giving some money, and on the address, means on the reply letter, it was also written as signature God. Means God has sent this very money. Okay, next question. Who or what did Lencho have faith in? Lencho had a big faith in God. Understood? And he thought that only God would help him. What did he do? He wrote a letter to God in which he demanded 100 pesos. Okay. Who read the letter? At first, who read the letter? To be honest, the total letter was read by the postmaster. So the postmaster read the letter. What did the postmaster do then? The postmaster decided to reply the letter by thinking that he should not break Lencho's faith in God, and by helping him with the money, asking from other post office employees as a kind of charity. Next, the following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter from him. How confident, my dear students, Lencho was that after posting that letter in the post office, the next day, means the following Sunday, Lencho himself visited the post office just to inquire that has any reply letter come from God or not. How funny it is. But it was the postman himself who handed the letter to him. The postman himself who handed the letter to him. While do you know, the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Who performed a good deed? The postmaster, the post office employees. But who was experiencing a contentment of a man? Most importantly, the postmaster was becoming very much contented, means satisfied, you can say. Okay, what will be the English line for Santosham Param Sukham? Please comment it in the comment section. Santosham Param Sukham. So let me tell you the answer. The answer is contentment is happiness. Contentment means satisfaction, you can say. Okay, so when you are satisfied, you are happy. Okay, what happens? The postman gave a letter in which 70 pesos were there, and Lencho took the letter as well. But what happens? Very funny it is. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Beta, let me tell you that if I had a big faith in God, I do have a big faith in God, but even if I would have written a letter to God, I would not have expected any reply later to from God. But he got the reply, money envelope, you can say, and he started counting the money without showing any kind of surprise. So Lencho was absolutely, you can say, uh, absolutely impractical by expecting that a letter would come. And he took the money, and such was his confidence. But he became angry. Rather than becoming happy, he became angry when he counted the money. Understood? God could not have, very important line, underline this line. He thought that God could not have made a mistake, nor he could have denied Lencho what he had requested. Lencho thought that God might have sent me 100 pesos. God might not have cheated me, but only 70 pesos reached to me. Means these post office employees must have taken my rest of the money, that is 30 pesos. So immediately Lencho went up to the window to take a paper and ink, and on the paper, with the help of the ink, what will he write? He will write another letter to God, where that letter will be a complaint letter. Don't worry, I'll teach you in the 10th class how to write a complaint letter. So on the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow. Wrinkling of his brow, brow means bhangwe. In Hindi it is called, eyebrow. So just keeping your eyebrow straight, totally upside. So that is called as wrinkling of his brow. Wrinkling of his brow can also be understood as showing a kind of anger, showing a kind of contempt for the very person that he is writing. Means Lencho was writing a letter to God, and he was showing a kind of what, hatredness towards that very the post office employees. And what happens, dear students, caused by the great effort he had to make to express his ideas, and when he finished, he went to the window by a stamp which he licked, and then another letter was written by Lencho. He is Lencho once again. This might be what I think most probably the postmaster. Let's read what happens. Actually, after writing the letter, he took an envelope, and with a blow of his fist, means tuck tuck tuck, he completed. He packed the very envelope, and inside that envelope there was a letter. And the moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster himself, the head, went to open it, and it said on the letter what was written. Very important, underline this line. God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached to me. My dear God, the money that I demanded from you, that was 100 pesos, but to me only 70 pesos reached. So send me the rest of the 30 pesos, since I need it very much, but don't send it to me through the mail, means through post office, because the post office, very important, underline this line, the post office employees are bunch of crooks. Lencho said this. My dear students, bunch of crooks means, bunch means beta group, crooks means beta dishonest people. Means Lencho said that these dishonest people, who the postmaster and the post office employees, were the bunch of crooks according to Lencho. Why? Because Lencho thought that these bunch of crooks, means these postmaster and post office employees, took the 30 pesos. Why? Because he was able to get only 70 pesos. There is an irony in this very sentence. How can you prove? By saying Lencho said the post office employees as bunch of crooks. How it is irony? Ironical means that figure of a speech where a sentence or a statement is written which gives just the opposite meaning of that. Beta, how it is totally injustice now that the Lencho is calling the postmaster and the other post office employees as a bunch of crooks. They were not dishonest people. Actually, these were the most honest and loyal people who gave their own money. Means from his own salary, the postmaster contributed a huge amount, and the rest of the post office employees also gave somewhat money, their own money as a kind of charity just to help Lencho. But these people who helped Lencho are being called as bunch of crooks. This is ironical. Yes or no? So, was Lencho surprised to find a letter from him with money in it? Lencho was not surprised at all. What made him angry? Lencho became angry by counting the money because he got only 70 pesos, and he became angry by thinking that God might send him 100 pesos, but God might have sent him 100 pesos, but only 70 pesos reached to him. Means the rest 30 pesos might have been taken by this bunch of crooks. Who are the bunch of crooks? The postmaster and the other post office employees. This is ironical here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have liked this video, please share it to all the 10th class students. And your sharing, your liking, your increasing, your help of making our subscribers, you can say, totally increased. This helps me, this motivates me to make a video. So thank you so much everyone. Thank you. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye.